Welcome back to the lunch table, food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Make sure you hit that subscribe button at the bottom left-hand corner. Also, press that bell so you know whenever we post a new interview. My next guest, I want to give a huge shout-out to my guy DJ Santana because he put me onto him, and he knows I love, like, that West Coast G-Funk, boom-bap type sound. Straight out of Inglewood with the new album, Soul. Prestige was popping, bro.
What's going on with you, man? It's a pleasure to be here, bro.
Bro, it's a pleasure to have you. And it's like, and also because you don't hear too many people really wanting to put out G-Funk music, bro. Like, it's very rare. It's very rare.
Yeah, sort of a...
Come to the mic, man. People want to hear your voice, bro, you know?
Nah, I have this thing where I naturally have this booming voice, so sometimes people would tell me, like, bro, why are you so loud? Why are you so loud? Calm down. I'm just like, man, that's just the natural voice I got.
Hey, man, look, I would rather turn down the gain than turn up the gain. You feel me?
Right, absolutely. That's music recording 101 right there.
101, bro. Yeah, you know, people normally don't like to put out G-Funk music nowadays. I want to say the last person who I know really put on some G-Funk music was Desi Hollow. If you ever heard of him, he's from Oceanside. And I was just like, yo, like, people don't do this shit anymore.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I said before, G-Funk is an acquired taste, you know what I mean? And the reason why I decided to step into that lane, it's just my upbringing, you know? Like, I, of course, growing up in Inglewood, but even aside from that, like, the inner city, it's just like what I was exposed to is, you know, on Saturdays and Sundays at any given day, whether it was in Inglewood or if it was in the Crenshaw district, like Crenshaw and Slauson, you know, I will always see, you know, the cars come out, you know, with the Lolos, the Cherry 6 Impalas and Dayton's and, you know, the chop cars, and everybody just be bumping, like, you know, anything by Snoop or DJ Quick or the Funkadelics, you know, and I just always had that in my repertoire, you know what I mean? So I just figured, you know, why not bring that to life in my music, because that's a part of who I am.
I feel you, bro. And, you know, seeing as how L.A. has such its own unique sound, you even hear a lot of G-Funk elements in the music that's popping right now because, you know, even Dr. Dre and Snoop, like, they would go in with, like, the synthesizers, and now, like, you can't hear, like, a West Coast record without those same synthesizers.
Not at all. And I just feel as though it all comes with the advancement of technology. You know what I'm saying? You know, with how it's so easy to hop on, like, Fruity Loops. That's how a lot of producers got started with Fruity Loops and, you know, GarageBand and everything like that. Anybody can make a beat. Anybody could produce. So I feel as though since it's become so easily accessible, it's become oversaturated at the same time.
100%, man.
You know,
that's why you got people produce. It's funny because if you go on my Instagram story, well, it's probably gone by the time you go on this right now. But like, there was literally a video that popped up, and then like I passed by it super quickly, but then all you heard was like, and I was like, oh shit. So then I literally just kept on scrolling up and down, and it kept on going. And you know what I mean? Like, and I wouldn't call it necessarily producing per se, but it's like the idea of creating some sort of like melody or like rhythm is just that much more easier with this advancement of technology.
Right, absolutely. And that's part of the reason why I decided to name my particular EP So, and I guess we'll get into that in a minute.
Of course.
But, you know, just for the foundation of that, you know, first it stands for Success Over Losses. It's an acronym. And two, you know, in Espanol, it means, you know, sun, you know, summertime. I'm July, baby. Just had my birthday and everything.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
Thank you. You know, so it all went hand in hand. And furthermore, I just felt like not enough people was putting enough soul into their music.
Yeah. You know, that's always the one thing. I refer to this all the time, but like, you know, when you get freestylers in the booth and you can tell when somebody's actually freestyling.
Right.
We had Stupid Young pull up to the station at one point, and I knew it. He was just coming with, like, hella energy. I knew he was just, you know, just, like, making up words that were just coming out of his ass, and everything was just so natural. And I'm just like, you don't get this anymore. And you can hear it when it comes to production, and you can hear it when people rap on their own songs because there's so many formulas that go into creating a hit record or a song now. But it's like, sometimes I just want, like, that nitty-gritty hip-hop that's just, like, that you just feel like, I don't know, maybe old boy, like, recorded this shit, like, in his fucking closet. You know what I mean? I want that type of shit, you know?
Exactly. That's why I'm saying, like, I just feel like, you know, people just not trying hard enough, you know? Like, I'm never the man to discredit anybody from doing their thing, getting started. You know, like I respect anybody on that grind, but it's just like at the same time, you gotta know when enough is enough, sufficient is sufficient, and insufficient is insufficient. You know, a lot of these people, a lot of these cats, they be in the studio with their homies and everything like that. You know, they be all weeded up, leaned up, and everything like that. That's cool. They having a good time, but it's just like, where's the productivity? Like, is there anybody sober enough in the room to listen to what's coming out of the damn speakers? Be like, hey, bro, like, this ain't tight.
You need to tweak it just a little.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, niggas is not critiquing each other enough whenever it comes to, like, laying something down in the booth. So that's why I was like, you know what? Since nobody else is doing it, I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah. So seeing as how I feel like you made soul with a lot of your soul into it, right? And I just want to get into the album since we're already talking about it. But like, how long did it take for you to create the project?
Honestly, it's like a mixture. You know what I mean? Because I want to say about a good 75% of those tracks, like, that I had laid to. Even a few of the songs were, like, fairly old, like 2-3 years old.
Oh, really?
And, because I was just in a space, during that time in 2017 where I was creating, but it was for a different purpose. I had other, situations and deals. I had just began working with Track Killers, who's my team now. Shout out to them.
Oh, wow, okay.
And, things started to just take off exponentially. So I was still, in music creation mode, but I wasn't able to focus on myself as much as I wanted to, So just, I guess, retrospectively, like, this project is a reflection of everything that I've been to from that point up to now. It's, man, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just like... Those man, that collection, that project right there, I did put a lot of soul into it. And that's mainly because it kind of highlights some of those adversities and challenges that I've been through. Like, when I wrote the song Go Get It, that during that time I was kind of going through some drama, in relationship, from a relationship standpoint. And it's just like, I was like, you know what? All these songs that I have so far, even though some of them are fairly old, I still want that to be highlighted. And I still want that to be showcased because those songs were created during a very vulnerable time in my life. You get what
I hear you, bro.
So.
And, it's those stories that I feel like, people like myself who can really gravitate towards it because, a really good story is a timeless story. So to know for the fact that it took maybe like 2-3 years for you to actually release that music, like, makes it that much more, like, gratifying to me to, like, listen to. Because, I mean, for instance, right, a lot of the music out right now is like fuck bitches get money type of shit. You know what I mean? And that type of shit's always gonna have the same shit all the fucking time, which I feel like we definitely need in hip hop. But then when I listen to stuff like soul, when I listen to stuff like Prestige, it adds that balance. You know what I mean? Because we get the stories like, bro, like, this song has been stuck in my head, like, ball till we fall out. Like, as soon as the shit, like, opens, like, we gonna ball till we fall out. I'm like, oh, shit, okay. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, there's other stories other than just the fuck bitches get money.
Right, absolutely. And that's what I tried to have the essence of, or capture that essence whenever it came to making this project. I was all like, okay, the summertime's coming up. It's right around the corner. Your birthday's coming up, man. Like, what do you, like, you should let this be a reflection of such. You know what I mean? So, of course, I couldn't make anything dark. I couldn't make anything depressing because that's hustling backwards. You know what I mean? Like, it's the middle of the summer and nobody wants to hear about I Get Lonely Too, or, how my ex keeps trying to start some shit with her cousin.
Even though Drake just dropped that care package. I'm like, why is I Get Lonely Too on here? This shit's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I'm kind of glad that dropped because that shows another essence or another side of Drake that people are not used to seeing or don't really remember.
Well, yeah, facts, man, because seeing as how an artist is able to evolve like how Drake has over the years, like, I'm a simp, bro. I love listening to all the simpy shit as well. Yeah. But to see somebody do like Money in the Grave or Mia after, from priorly doing all the simpy shit, it's kind of like, it's only right that an artist knows how to evolve and stay in that that currently evolving state. Because I think sometimes a lot of cats just like to stick to what they already know and just stay there.
Yeah, end up being stagnant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the part of being an artist. You always got to find some type of inspiration from somewhere. You always got to, you know, be in a space where you're able to grow. Otherwise, you're going to become stagnant and you're going to fall off. You know, people are going to be like, oh, well, you're just one-dimensional. You're just known for this. And that's definitely something I don't want to do personally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I know for sure you're into like G-Funk, right? But what else do you listen to?
Honestly, it's like a mixture of things, you know what I mean? And that comes with part of like my hashtag, because I have a hashtag that's the Educated G. And, you know, people all the time, they ask me, they're like, oh, the Educated G, you know, what is that about? You know what I mean? Like, why did you call yourself this? I'm giving y'all a wave check right now. Like, you feel me? I ain't have time to brush because I had just got off the shower. So y'all get a live wave check. Y'all see him out here dipping, just so you know. Don't try to play me.
It's kind of wavy, bro.
Appreciate it. Surf's up, man. High tide. But yeah, just anyways, just getting back on topic. I listen to a mixture of a lot of things, and that's mainly because of my upbringing. For instance, I remember when I was younger, just growing up in Inglewood, California, and I was going to La Tierra Elementary at the time, and my daddy, he would always drop me off and pick me up in this burgundy Cadillac Broadham.
Okay.
Yeah, and every time I was in that car, it never failed. It was either gospel, contemporary gospel, or smooth jazz. I couldn't listen to nothing else.
Nice.
I didn't have that privilege, you know, so in terms of like being able to listen to, you know, Pac and Biggie and Wu-Tang Clan and you know,
you could probably only listen to it at school, huh?
Yeah, I had to, you know, finagle and maneuver my way into, you know, being able to listen to that. Otherwise, you know, that was off of my head. You know, I wouldn't live to tell this story, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so it ranges from gospel, jazz, contemporary jazz, smooth jazz. You know, I mean, even on the terms or like the spectrum of hip hop. I grew up, like, once I started venturing off into, like, my own, you know, like, niche of hip-hop, I was listening to a lot of Jay Dilla, a lot of DJ Quick, a lot of Pharrell and the Neptunes, a lot of Timbaland, Battle Cat, of course.
Damn, bro, shout out Battle Cat.
Yeah, shout out to Battle Cat, man. It's true West Coast pioneer right there, so it's sort of an accumulation of all that because of, you know, my upbringing.
You named so many... It's a crazy dynamic because whenever I ask people this question, they usually name people who are more prominent in rapping. But you named a lot of producers, which is kind of interesting because, well, I also know that you produce soul, like, you know, like front to back. So it's interesting how some of your favorite artists you mentioned are all producers. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Dilla's like always gonna be fucking legendary. Timbaland's still doing his thing. Like, I guess the only name I didn't really hear was Kanye.
Yeah, oh yeah, I can't forget Kanye. You know what I mean? A lot of people try to discredit him for, you know, how he is now, but I mean, that still doesn't take away from everything that he has done, in my opinion. So, yeah, you know, gotta throw Kanye's honorable mention in there.
So, you know, seeing as how, like, you mentioned a lot of producers and you produce your own projects, what do you produce on, and how did you start to get into producing?
Man, I remember like it was yesterday. It was 2006. I was going to Beverly Hills High School at the time. And at the Apple Store, they used to have always the little, you know, the demo computers and stuff like that. Yeah. Always hop on photo booth, you know, act a fool and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I used to, you know, always be there all the time because Century City Mall was right by Beverly Hills High School. I went there for my first 2 years. So in my spare time after school, if it wasn't football season, you know, I'd go up there, kick it with the homies or whatever, mess around the computers and whatnot. And I remember they had this digital audio workstation software called GarageBand.
Shout out GarageBand, man. I think a lot of us started off on GarageBand.
Yeah, GarageBand, man. That's gold status right there. I can't even tell you how many ideas was birthed from that, but I just remember, you know, every now and then I would like mess around with GarageBand. I didn't really know what I was doing, but see, the thing was, I already knew how to play keys because I learned in the church how to play keys at 11 years old. Okay. You know, so it's just like, whenever it came to production, it was an easy transition. Like, it was a direct correlation because, I mean, I knew how to, like, you know, read notes at the time and do my chord structure and whatnot. So I knew what I was doing. So it's just like I started, you know, mastering that. And then, you know, of course, Logic is the segue to GarageBand. So I got started on Logic. And everything is just like NASA. It just has taken off ever since. Just taken off.
Do you still produce on Logic?
Absolutely.
Damn, bro. Okay, so
you're
definitely familiar.
On Logic.
Damn, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
you know, that's actually a much more difficult situation because a lot of producers who I've spoken to work on, you know, like Pro Tools, fucking Reason and like a whole bunch of other shit, but it's very rare I hear somebody produce on Logic. And low key, I want to get into this talk because you know, like I guess in a sense it's just like you've probably just been around Logic so much that you know the ins and outs of it that it's kind of difficult to venture out to another program and like relearn like a whole new thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd probably say the next type of software I use is Pro Tools. I mean, that's kind of mandatory because every studio that I've been to, the engineer, whoever was running it, they've always had Pro Tools as the recording interface. So what I would do is I would record on, or if I didn't, have access to Pro Tools, I would record in Logic with the session and everything. But aside from that, I would just do the bounce out with a 2-track of whatever instrumental and then put in Pro Tools and then have it, recorded from there. So.
Man, got you, bro.
Yeah.
It basically different strokes, different folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
whatever works for you as a producer, bro.
Right.
So, did they ever kick you out of that Apple store because you were there so frequently?
I'm gonna tell you something, man. It got to a point where I was there so much, and like I was always creating so much there. And what I would do is I would produce something, and then I would have like a stack of CDs. And so if it was something I like, maybe 3 or 4 beats that I did, I'd burn them down to that CD, and I'd take them, I'd load them back up to my computer.
That's hella funny.
Yeah, like I still have some of those songs like somewhere in my old iMac, But yeah, it's just like it got to a point where I started getting attention from a couple of the Apple employees because, as they always have it set up, their employees are assigned to different, stations throughout the store. You got somebody who's responsible for the iPods and the iPads. You got another person that's responsible for the MacBooks and, the iMacs and everything. So the people that were stationed in, like, the iMac station where the little station with the M audio keyboard and stuff was, that will always do sessions in terms of, like, how to do certain things in GarageBand. So it got to a point where she was all like, hey, I know you've been creating some good stuff over there, you know what I mean? And, like, they would actually give me props and, like, give me free reign. You know what I mean? Just because they knew I was working with something hot. So, they shout out to the Apple store in Century City. Y'all shout
out Apple, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool, and it's kind of like they really just believed in you at that point. Like if this kid's gonna keep on creating, we're just gonna foster that creativity that he has.
Right, absolutely. I'm glad they did because they planted a seed and didn't even know it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, that's what's up, bro. So then, when do you end up not going to the Apple store anymore? You know what I mean? Like, when do you get, like, your first MacBook, your first laptop to actually start producing at home?
Oh, man. Honestly, I bought... this is hilarious. I bought my first iMac in 2009. At the time, I had just... I was going to LA Valley College, and, I needed some essentials because I was, going to college and everything. Yeah. So, with my financial aid check, I took half of that, bought me a car. I got me a Mercedes. I had a Benzo, E-Class, you know what I mean? That was my first whip. I was out in these streets, you know what I mean? But, I bought my first whip with that money, and then I took that other half, and I bought me a printer, and I bought an iMac. And that was in 2009. That was the first time I got started. And I had that computer, I want to say, all the way up until earlier this year. It just gave out on me after 10 years.
10 years, bro.
10 years. I feel like I'm doing it. Y'all need to cut me a check, Apple. Stop playing with me.
For real, Apple need to sponsor this fucking podcast, bro. Like, can we get that going or what?
Real talk, man. I will endorse the hell out of y'all stuff.
Yeah, right?
For real.
But then, you've been working on the same machine for 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, aside from that, like, in 2011, I did get a laptop. I was going to Azusa Pacific. And at the time, I was a music minor, and so they had a laptop program that came with, like, a brand new 15-inch MacBook Pro. It had, like, it came with an inbox, so you was able to run Pro Tools through there. And then also it came with Logic Pro and a few other things, but it was just plus. So what I did was I ended up transferring to Laverne, and so I decided instead of having to give the laptop back, I'm going to just cash them out. Give me him. You feel me? I'll take care of that. And then, like, I had that laptop ever since. You know what I mean? So it's been a smooth little transition. I've turned water into wine.
Yeah,
hey, for lack of better terms.
That's how you're supposed to be doing it, bro.
Yeah.
When did you? So I mean, I know you went to like Azusa Pacific, and you also went to Laverne, right?
Yeah.
Were you going to school for music?
At the time when I was going to APU, I was a communications major and I was a music minor. But at the time, I just felt as though for what, like their type of music program, they wanted me to go more into like scoring. Like they didn't have a program that was specifically revolving around music recording.
Got you.
So I decided to drop the major because I felt like it would have been at lost cause. Like, yeah, it would have helped me just in terms of, musical notation and whatnot, but not necessarily for what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to accomplish. So I actually, from that point, I didn't, in terms of music being a focus of study, that wasn't a thing. I just worked on my craft on my own. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's what's up, bro. I mean, it's kind of interesting that you didn't want to, like, take music scoring, though, because, I mean, I feel like that could have been, like, a really good segue for you to, like, enter the industry, in a sense,
Yeah. And, at the time I was young, I didn't really understand that. I just knew exactly what I wanted and where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So if there was anything that was to the left or right of that, I wasn't going to deviate and pursue that because that was going to take me off of plan A.
Yeah.
Everybody always talks about, make sure you have a plan B, but sometimes plan B can distract you from obtaining plan A.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, even I watched a lot of Gary Vee, and he was like, man, fuck your plan B.
Yeah.
If you have a plan B, that means you're already ready to cop out of your plan A.
Exactly. That means you don't have enough faith and you're not putting in enough effort and worth ethic into making sure that plan A is reached.
Yeah.
That's why you have a plan B.
So, what was your plan A at the time, and what is your plan A at, like, this time?
Honestly, at the time, when I was in school and everything, because I was a two-sport athlete, so I played football and I ran track. So, honestly, the goal at the time, music was going to be my plan B. I was more focused on, trying to get to either the NFL or the CFL. The CFL was more attainable because I did have a tryout with them. But at the time, mentally, I was at a place where I was all like, you know what? As long as I play football and as much as I've always had love for the game, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And that was a very tough decision because I had so much influence and support, from my father, because my father was the one who raised me. My mom wasn't active in my life, so my father, he kept me all along the way. He trained me, to make sure that I was the best completely at football. But it's just like, I knew within myself, I was like, music is where my heart is. That's what I have most passion for. So I would be shortchanging myself if I did decide to go this route, even though it's the safer route and it's the more guaranteed route because, you can't go wrong with choosing the scholastic route. At the same time, I don't want to be in a state where I have a career job and, I'm 35, 36, nice little job, everything is straight, but I know deep down inside I always wanted to pursue music and I never had that opportunity because I was so focused on plan B.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Because football was always like it was kind of like the route that it seemed like everything was going smoothly. But even like football players, I had Maurice Moore. He's this R&B singer from Canada.
Okay.
And he said that he quit football because he loved it so much, but then it's not something that he really wanted to do.
Right.
And I even told him too, like, football players only have like a 5-year span to play in the game, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like, think about if we all live 100 years, right?
Right.
5 years is so small compared to like the rest of our life, and that's really all you're gonna end up doing for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Like you can't physically play football for the rest of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can make music and you can make beats for the rest of your life. All you need is your fucking laptop and some sort of machine.
Yeah, I just need my hands. That's all I need. I just need my hands. My hands. That's all I need.
Yeah. But, shout out to all the football players who are doing their thing.
Yeah,
Good luck to y'all, man.
Yeah, shout out to DeAnthony Thomas in the league right now doing his thing out the West. You feel me?
Yeah.
Putting it on.
Yeah. So Prestige, like, this isn't your first project, Soul, right? It's not your first.
Absolutely not.
You've made a couple already.
I've made several.
How many?
Several. It's not even including the stuff that's out right now because, St. Valentine and 90 Octane, those are still fairly new. But aside from that, I've done several mixtapes. I put out several singles just over the span of since 2011 on up.
Crazy.
I've had mixtapes where I just dropped and there was 13, 14 tracks and I produced the whole thing and, it didn't do as I anticipated, so I went back to the drawing board, did an EP. That did better. So I'm like, okay, I got to refine and everything like that. So I did a lot of projects, man, a whole lot.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
What keeps you motivated to want to come back with project after project after project? Because you mentioned that you did an album, didn't do as well as you wanted it to do, and then you come out with an EP, and then you're like, okay, people are fucking with the EP more.
Yeah.
So then how do you keep on motivating yourself to do like albums and EPs and projects year after year after year?
Honestly, like I was saying before, you gotta find a way to keep yourself inspired as an artist. Otherwise, your content is always gonna be, redundant. So it's just like I've used my personal life experiences as motivation. You know what I mean? Like certain situations and circumstances that I went through that I thought I wasn't even gonna get out of. You know what I mean? Like this is it for me.
Like
you know
what?
I mean? Prime example in 2017 in January, I'd actually got into my first car accident and I totaled my car. Completely totaled it. Like I wasn't, drunk or like unsober. I was completely sober. I was on my way to work. And, it was just by a freak accident because somebody had cut me off in the intersection on the corner of Washington and 5th. And so, I'm like, oh, snap, I got to swerve around this person. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I hit the brakes, I slowed down, but there's another person in the right-hand lane. And so I'm like, damn, I'm still not slowing down enough. Like, what am I going to do? So I try to swerve to the left, get back in the left-hand lane. The back of my car wheel started fishtailing. So now my car is sliding to the side. The car jumps the curb. The left rear side of the car smacks the light post. Smack. And so next thing I know, like I remember going blank for 5 seconds. Car finally stopped. I look up. I'm noticing like the whole left-hand window is gone. Like that's the driver's side. The other right window was shot. I'm looking up because I had like it was a Chevy Malibu Max, so it had a hatchback, so it had a little T-top in there in the passenger seat that you could look up at. That was completely shattered and it was warped, and I'm like, oh snap! Did I just get into an accident? Like I couldn't believe what had happened because it happened so fast. I couldn't even brace myself, So I just remember like I'm in the car, and I'm looking around like oh snap, and then I just got out the car. Like, wasn't even thinking if I was hurt or if I was bleeding anywhere.
I mean, how were you after that? Like,
honestly, like my adrenaline was rushing so fast that, I didn't feel a thing after, in the moment, because I'm just like, damn, like I really went through this. Like, I can't believe it, So I get out the car. And I'm looking at my car sitting on the sidewalk with like 2 of the windows shot and just the left side of it smacked into the light pole. I literally have about 3 inches between the right-hand side of my car and the building sitting on the sidewalk. So I could have almost potentially crashed into that building.
Yeah.
So I just remember going through that. And like after I got out the car, I'm like, oh, snap. Like, oh, my God. And then I feel something cold on my left hand. Like, what is this wet? And so I went like this. I realized I got a cut on my forehead. I'm bleeding and everything. So I'm like, oh, like I'm just panicking. Like I'm damn near about to fall out. You know what I mean? Like my emotions was just all over the place. And so I just remember it was like maybe 3 or 4 LAPD cars that pull up. It was a big fire truck. The ambulance had came. It's like 3 or 4 paramedics that's looking at me. They're like, are you okay? And I'm just in so much of a daze. Like I couldn't even process none of that. Like, it was a lot, and just within that, in my life, that was a point in my life where it has slowed me down all the way. Because I look at the fact that I just got that car 3 months prior to that happening, so I only had that car for 3 months, but I felt invincible. I was like, okay, I got a car, money's looking right, music's doing good, like I'm straight.
Feeling good about yourself, yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling like, excellent, but it's just like because I felt invincible, like deep down inside, I was discrediting the fact that I was being prideful about it. You know what I mean? I wasn't humble about it. So that my biggest takeaway from that was that God was humbling me. He was all like, pump your brakes. You got a little bit too much dip on your chip. You know what I mean? Gotta slow down. You still need me. You're not bigger than, what you think you are. You still a human being just like anybody else. That was my biggest takeaway from it. And then ever since, the fact that aside from having like, I think the doctor, when I went to see the Sinai, they said I had like lower back sciatica, but I bounced back from that in like a week. They had me on hydrocodone. I can't even take that because I'm like, I don't take pills. Like I've never been sick or had to be hospitalized for anything. So I was just like, I wasn't even taking my like the drugs they prescribed to me. I was just like, nah, like I'd rather just, you know, soak in a hot tub, get some Epsom salt, a CBD bomb or something.
Yeah, so then you even refuse to take the medicine that the doctors were trying to prescribe to you. Like, how do you bounce back from a situation as fatal as that?
Honestly, it was a miracle, bro. And I'm even getting emotional thinking about it because I just remember everything that came with it. At the scene when the paramedics and everything, they was, you know, evaluating me, and they was all like, okay, like, you just got into an accident. I don't know how you feeling. It was like, are you okay? Do you want to go to the hospital? And honestly, at the time, I was just so freaked out because, you know, my then girlfriend at the time, I had called her, and she was panicking. She was like, oh, my God, let me know what hospital you were at. Like, there was just so much going on, but I just remembering, I'm all like, I'm perfectly fine. I'm not dead. I'm not paralyzed. I still have 10 fingers, 10 toes. I'm able to breathe. Like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be okay. Like, I realized at that point that I was going to get through it because I looked at all the things that I had been through prior to, and I thought I wasn't going to get through those things, and I got through them. So I just applied myself, and I was like, you know what? Even though this is what it is, even though this is messed up, like, I know God gonna get me through this, and I know I'm gonna get through this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's because you were able to, you know, kind of like get out of that situation like physically unscathed. And then you kind of think about a greater purpose that you have in life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you go through a situation like that, and then you think about, like, okay, I'm still here. I'm still alive. What is it what do I really have to do to make an impact in this world that also humbles yourself at the same time?
Yeah.
And I guess for you, it was really music.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, just from that situation alone, I was just thinking about, like, it was times where I was just thinking, like, I was defeated, like, dang, you know, I'm taking a step backwards now. How am I going to rebuild and everything? And I just remember within that moment, I created some of the most fire music ever. Like, I was really using my pain and, you know, my adversity as medicine for myself. It was healing.
Wow, that's beautiful,
I felt
bro.
like Wolverine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was just healing myself just, you know, within my own practice. And, you know, some of those same songs that I had made after I went through that is actually on Soul. Like, the same OG, I had made that after I got into my accident.
Wow, bro.
Like, literally a week after I got into my accident, I had made that song. You know, shout out to King Dope from Inglewood City. Shout out to the homie C-Red that was also on that song. He from the LBC. But, yeah, I made that song, like, literally a week after.
Damn,
after
bro,
I got into that.
Hey, man.
Appreciate
it's a beautiful
that.
thing to
Appreciate it.
it's a beautiful thing to see you share such a vivid story, not only here but also on your music too, because it's those situations that I feel like make us feel a lot more connected as human beings. Because I mean, there's even this kid from Modesto, California. His name is Bankroll Hayden, and he went through like a fatal like car crash too.
Yeah,
and he kind of went through like the same motion of like, you know, I was able to survive that thing, and seeing as how, you know, you make very impactful music, bro.
Thank
and you know, like to put out your art to the world, especially after a fatal accident like that, like, we can all clearly see what your greater purpose is. And I hope that you continue to foster your creativity and put it out to the world, bro.
Thank you, man. That's much appreciated. For real,
Yeah,
for real.
bro. So, you know, Inglewood represent, Prestige in the building.
Yeah, from the bottom to the north.
I don't even think I asked you,
side.
bro, but like, what is it, like, why'd you go with Prestige?
Honestly, the term came in 9th grade, right?
Okay.
And at the time, I was like transitioning from like having an inner city type of education because I was in Inglewood, so I was going to Latier. You know, anybody knows that Latier and Parent were like two of the biggest schools on the west side of Inglewood. But you know, aside from that, I just had a very different experience in terms of like my upbringing during grade school. So when I went to Beverly Hills High School, because I was supposed to go to Inglewood High, my daddy didn't let me go to Inglewood High. He was like, no, You're not finna be up there with all them hoodlums, all them bloods over there. No, absolutely
We're throwing
not.
you with white people.
Yeah, he took me far west. I was like, yeah, I know West Side, but I don't want to be that far. You got me over here by Santa Monica and, you know what I mean? Clover Palms and everything. Like, I don't be over there, bro. Come on. I don't be over there. I want my people's at.
Yeah.
Real, yeah.
So you spent some time in Beverly Hills High School.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So then what? So people ended up calling you Prestige because you ended up going to that spot?
Well, not quite. So I remember it was in my 9th grade English class.
Okay.
My 9th grade English teacher, she would always give us like a vocabulary list to learn like every 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks we was going to get tested on it. Mm-hmm. So I just remember there was this particular word that stuck out to me. It was prestige. You know what I mean? And I just remember reading the definition, and you had to deal with like a special classification. You know, if something has a certain type of prestige, that means they're highly esteemed. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because it's in a different classification of its own. So when I realized that, I was all like, prestige. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Yeah, that's smooth. You know what I mean? Like I was all like, I wonder how this would sound if this is my rap name. Because at first, I wanted to go Jackpot. Jackpot was going to be my first rap name.
Jackpot. Oh, yeah. I ain't mad at Jackpot either, bro.
Man, hell no. I couldn't do it. Because the first day that I decided that, I told the homies, like, yeah, I'm going to go by Jackpot. They was all like, so what you trying to be, Chingy or something like that? Because at the time, he had dropped Jackpot in 2000.
Baby, yeah.
You know what I mean? Holiday Inn, all that. So, they,
there was getting on you.
So I was like, nah, I got to be original. You know what I mean? So I went so far as to pull a vocabulary / SAT word and apply it to be my stage
There
name.
you go, bro. Any particular reason why you have a period after it?
Because my name's a statement. And you put periods after statements. You feel me? So my name's a statement in itself. Damn it. Make sure y'all heard that. So when y'all typing my name on Apple Music and stuff, make sure you don't forget that dot. That's a part of my name.
Bruh.
Yeah. 100,
oh, my God.
100.
Yo, that was the best fucking explanation I could have ever gotten.
Simple as that. Ain't no extras that need to be put on it. It's just my name is a statement. You know, at first I didn't go. It was just prestige and it didn't have the period. You know what I mean? But it's just like when you put that dot at the end of a sentence, that means your whole thought is complete. Your whole sentence is complete. So my name is complete because it's a statement.
Man, get the fuck up out of here. We're done, bro. I'm done with you. This is the lunch table.
Freestyle, but that's just facts. Bro. That's just facts, bro.
Prestige, where can everybody find you, bro?
Bro, I'm everywhere like Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Apple Music, Prestige, with a period. I'm on Spotify, Prestige, with a period at the end. Instagram, This is Prestige, exactly how it's spelled. THISISPRESTIGE. Same thing for Twitter. You know what I mean? That's where you can find me. I mean, if anything, if all those spells, listen to my beat tag. You can find me in the wood if you're looking for me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is the lunch table.
Yeah,
Food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Prestige.
Yeah.
Soul is out right now. Go cop that.
Yeah, go get
go
that
listen
ASAP.
to it.
Tell your auntie about it. Make some tacos to it. Sip some Hennessy to it. Whatever you feel that's going to make you happy, do that.
Amen
100.
to that. Yay.
Yeah.